I kicked my girlfriend out after she called me a crybaby. I don't know where to even start with this. I met my now ex-girlfriend 4 years ago in college. Until now, she seemed like the type of woman I would want to marry. Extremely kind, genuine, and generally a joy to be around. My big sister and her husband had a daughter at the beginning of our relationship. I couldn't be more happy to be an uncle. She was the cutest thing in the world to me. I tried to that cool uncle to her and would always try to find time for her. My sister would regularly bring her over to my place for me to babysit when she had something going on. My girlfriend, to my knowledge, also seemed to get along fine with her and wouldn't be against babysitting her with me. The best moment I shared with her was when my sister showed me a drawing my niece made about me in kindergarten. I was literally on the verge of tears, saying that a year ago my world turned upside down when my sister gave me a call crying. That one sentence still rings in my head from time to time. She told me my niece was diagnosed with leukemia. To say I was devastated would be an understatement. The past year was really tough for all of us. I spent most of my free time with my sister and brother-in-law in the hospital. Seeing that poor girl with all those tubes attached to her really broke my heart. I would regularly bring over balloons and make those balloon animals for her. I learned how to make those while working at a carnival when I was young. As a result, I spent less time with my girlfriend. She seemed like she understood until her cancer grew worse. From Saturday to Sunday, I was either in the hospital or was drinking myself to sleep. One day, my girlfriend just seemed to ignore me on our 3-year anniversary. I bought her flowers, a cake, and made her a card. My girlfriend, on the other hand, didn't get me anything. I pressed her about it, and that's when she said something that probably was a sign of what was to come. She just told me, "Well, it doesn't seem like you care, so why should I get something for someone who cares more about a child that's going to unalive anyway?" I don't know what she was expecting. Long story short, I threatened to kick her out, and to tell everyone I knew, including my sister, is a close friend of hers, what she just told me. She apologized and told me she wasn't thinking straight and something like this would never happen again. I eventually forgave her and we moved on. My niece passed away last week, and it's been the worst period of my life. I've basically been crying myself to sleep every day and have been spending a lot of time with my sister to console her. Something that caught me off guard, though, is that my girlfriend seemed a bit too happy at the news of her passing. She just smiled and said, "I'm so happy she isn't suffering anymore and is in a much better place now," with a big grin on her face. Yesterday, I overheard her talking with one of her friends over the phone. I just came home from work, and I guess she didn't hear me walk in. I just heard, "A real man wouldn't cry unless it's his child unaliving." That caught me off guard, and I kept on listening. She said some more awful things about me being a crybaby and how I shouldn't be so attached to a kid that isn't mine and so on. I loudly coughed to get her attention and just saw the life draining from her face. She tried the whole "let me explain" BS, and I just told her to pack what's needed and I'll get her dad to come pick her up. After a solid hour of begging, she finally gave up and packed her things into a suitcase. Before leaving, she tried spitting at me, but just ended up spitting on herself. Her mom called me a few hours later begging me to give her a second chance. I know I shouldn't have said this, but I just told her to go F herself and her mentally unstable daughter. I basically emptied half a bottle of Jack Daniels that night and went to bed. I woke up today with text from my sister. She told me my ex told her everything that happened and understood me kicking her out, but I should consider giving her a second chance. She told me my ex seemed sincere in her apology to her. She asked what my niece Lily would want. Not going to lie, that kind of broke me. My niece loved my GF and would always run to her and ask her to play Barbie with her. I feel like I shouldn't be upset if my sister forgave her, but at the same time I feel hurt by her calling me a crybaby. Before the diagnosis, I've never really cried in front of her, and her comments hurt me deeply. I feel like I can never open up to anyone again, let alone her. Am I being irrational here? Should I forgive her? Edit. I just want to thank all of you. Seeing how my story touched so many people truly means the world to me. I originally posted on here to get another perspective on how I could have handled things better, and if I was being irrational by kicking out my ex. I couldn't bring this up to my family for obvious reasons, and I have a friend who posted on this subreddit regarding something similar, and he told me he received some not so good advice, but also a ton of great advice. I'm so glad I chose to post on here. The amount of messages I have received is overwhelming. I want to thank those for sharing their personal experiences and ways they dealt with grief with me. I apologize for taking so long to respond to messages. I've received over 100 messages to date. I want to give each message the same amount of care you guys showed me. I have received several screenshots of people donating to leukemia research charities, and I'm truly beyond grateful. I don't deserve any of this. The past 48 hours have definitely been some of the darkest and bleakest of my life. You guys helped me so much. I wish there was a way I could thank you all personally, but I would be here till the end of time doing that. I'll be posting an update as soon as I've cut the alcohol and me and my family are in a better place mentally. I owe it to you guys. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Tomorrow, they're going to remove my jaw. I've been a pack-a-day smoker for 10 plus years. I'm 29. A few months ago, I started noticing general discomfort around my lower jaw. Then a bump where my throat meets my jaw. Turns out it's a tumor caused by my smoking. It's growing, my whole right side of my jaw is swollen. Tomorrow I'm having surgery to remove the tumor, but it has grown so much that they're going to take off the right side of my jaw and part of my throat. I'll be left with a deformed absence of flesh and bone in the right side of my face and a hole in my throat. I'll speak through a machine. I'll be deformed and mutilated. I have a 4-year-old son. The only joy in my life. And tomorrow I'm going to look like a monster to him. Tomorrow I'm going to ruin my life. I'd rather be unalive. I'd rather let the tumor grow and suffocate me. The thought of seeing my son's horrified face when he sees me after they're done fills me with dread that I cannot describe. He calls me his best friend. He tells me he loves me when I put him to sleep. And I'm going to betray his love and turn into a monster when they remove 40% of my mouth. If you smoke or vape, I beg you stop. Listen to the guy who is about to have his heart ripped out. Just stop. Oh God, I'm about to lose my boy. Just stop smoking. Update. I don't know what to say to you all. I thought a few people would see this. I just wanted one of two to see this as a warning. I didn't expect so much kindness and support and love. I cried when I saw all of you being so kind to me. Your kindness to me, the guy who destroyed his face. I love every one of you. Thank you so much. I have seen my boy. My big guy, my brave little dude. This was our interaction. Oh, Daddy has big ouchie. Daddy, look at my Spider-Man shoes, they make lights. He then stomped his feet to make his shoes light up. They are in fact quite cool. He is being so strong and patient with me. He asks me why I don't talk, but his mom is helping him through it. She has been a blessing. He hugged me and asked me to make bubbles with him before he left today. He told he loved me without me saying it first. I can tell I am scaring him a little bit. His eyes tell me, his body language. But I think it'll be okay. After reading all of your messages, all of your experiences, all of your wisdoms, and all of your love, I think it'll all be okay eventually. He loves me, and I love him more than anything else that there is to love. We will find a way. I wanted to make this short. Failed at that. I love you all. I am seeking reconstruction for my face and throat. It'll be a long, difficult process, but it'll happen. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to make my son feel safe and comfortable. I owe it to him. I owe everything to him. To all of you who smoke, about 6-7 months ago, I first went to the doctor to see if I had smoking-induced cancer. I didn't ask enough questions and didn't push hard enough. He did blood work for autoimmune disease instead and gave me a 10-second physical examination. He told me I was stressed and maybe had a throat infection due to excessive stress and smoking. I trusted him and changed nothing about myself. He was wrong. You are wrong to continue smoking thinking that nothing will happen to you. Smokers. Part of my jaw is gone. Part of my throat is gone. My life is irreparably changed. My relationship with those I love is forever changed. And it is all my fault. I will unalive with this mistake on my soul. You don't have to be like me. Stop smoking.